Hello everybody and welcome back to An Idiot's Road to Glory, where today we're going to be doing something that I kind of suggested to you guys in a previous episode, whether you would be interested in it. And a couple of you guys said, yeah, a lot of you said that you've been learning quite a lot from this Road to Glory series, which is absolutely awesome to see. I've been learning a lot myself as well as we've been going through with different things. FIFA, be it trading, score the challenges, even just how to play the game, which is just really good fun, to be honest. It's like playing FIFA again back when I first started properly playing Ultimate Team back in like FIFA 12 or something like that. I think it was like properly first got into it. So it's really good fun and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it as well. And the thing that you guys wanted to see that I suggested we should possibly do is a how to defend on FIFA 18, because even though defending was a lot, like there isn't enough lots in the world harder before the patch came out in like the second week of the game, just before last week's FUT Champs, a patch came out that totally changed the game. And I'm sure you guys know, if you follow me on Twitter or even just from watching this series, know that it really annoyed me. Not just because they changed the game, which I do think, honestly, hand on heart, irrelevant of how good I am, it has changed it for the worst. They did it right before FUT Champs as well, which properly did my nut in because I just couldn't adapt to it at all. So I'm going to show you guys a game from my FUT Champs in a second, where I'm going to go through here. I was going to do it live, like I did that. The reason I'm doing this is because I did the how to win squad battles on Legendary, and like I'm not the best FIFA player in the world. I'm not a professional FIFA player. I'm going to preface it by saying you're going to see stuff in this video that is wrong. Like obviously I'm not perfect. I don't go 40-0 every single week in FUT Champs. I'm not Unilad Gorilla or Spencer or whatever you want to call him if you guys are watching this video in a year or something like that and he's changed teams. But you get what I mean. I'm not a professional FIFA player. I'm just a dude who is normal and kind of good at FIFA. So if you guys are worse than me at FIFA, if you're better than me at FIFA, if you can finish Elite Plus every week in FUT Champs, you're not even going to click on this video, are you, realistically? You're going to be clicking on this if you want some defending tips. So that's what I'm going to give you. So, like I said, bear in mind that I am not a professional FIFA player and take everything with a little bit of a pinch of salt and like think about it properly yourself and don't just take everything I say as literal fact. Like think, is that actually a good idea? Most of it is, and I'm pretty sure 99% of it is, otherwise I wouldn't tell it to you, but just bear that in mind. So anyway, at the point of playing this game that I'm going to show you, I was 2-0 in FUT Champs, which was incredible because I'd won twice as many games in 2 games than I won in 6 last week. So I've actually played 6 now at the time of doing this commentary, and I'm 4-2, which I'm pretty pleased with. I got absolutely smashed in my last game just from losing concentration, so could potentially be 5-1, but considering after 6 games last week I'd won 1, lost 5, I'll take 1-4, lost 2 any day of the week, especially because they were all before people came home from school and work, so it's literally just nerds like me sat at home playing FIFA who I'm playing against, so I'll take it. It's solid. But anyway, let's jump into this recording. Let's click play, and I'm going to watch this along with you guys as we go through. So you can see I am using, just in a quick bit of it, my Premier League team 4-3-2-1, as I'm sure you've seen in yesterday's episode, and this is what we come up against. A reasonably sweaty Premier League team where he's probably had a different Premier League striker there to get full chemistry. He does still have 100 chem and thought, nah, screw this, we want Mbappe. And that's what he's done. So everyone's got full chem apart from Jesus and Mbappe. Everyone on my team's got full chem apart from Son, who's playing right forward instead of left forward. So it's reasonably even. Pretty similar teams, to be honest. And we're just going to get things underway in this game. Now, I've got a couple of things that I've noted down that is, for me, one of the, or like 3 or 4 of the biggest tips that I can give you guys for defending. And first we are just going to chat a little bit about the differences pre-patch and post-patch. So pre-patch, it was basically 100% manual defending. If you didn't physically go over to the person with the ball, with the guy you're controlling, and press B, there is absolutely no chance that you were ever going to get the ball off them. And also, a thing that you've just seen, I've just gone defensive and I was just double checking that I've gone defensive. If you're struggling to defend, if you're playing against people in the weekend league with sweaty teams, anything like that, just play on defensive. Like, it doesn't make any difference to anything other than your actual defense. So the way obviously this is in fact, like, EA don't tell us all these things about the game, which really does annoy me because they're trying to be an esport. And for example, League of Legends will put a patch out for their game and they'll tell you literally everything that's changed down to the decimal point and every possible hypothetical situation that could happen. It is crazy. Whereas EA just say gameplay changes, altered keepers, and it's like, what did you alter? You don't even tell us. Altered keepers in certain situations. Which situations? Tell us. We want to be able to be better at the game. It's so annoying. But anyway, you can see, what was I saying? I switched it back to defensive. And like I said, we don't actually know what defensive, ultra defensive, and park the bus actually do, other than what we can see ourselves. And from what I can see, defensive just makes your defenders actually stay back. Ultra defensive makes your midfielders get back as well. And park the bus makes your attackers stay back too. So if you plonk it onto defensive, you could have scored a couple of times there. Auto blocks are very, very good. And I think the second that I literally just kicked it at him, the player didn't do anything, are a very good way to defend. And that's something that's changed post-patch. But like I was saying, put it on defensive. It doesn't matter. All it does is make sure your defenders actually stay back. And maybe your CDM, if you've got him set to stay back, he'll actually stay back, right? This is the reason I've picked this game, is because we both defended very, very well. I'm 1-0 up after 14 minutes with the worst possible goal. We could have scored in a build-up to it from the corner. Gabriel Jesus cut inside and we could have scored then. But the way we actually scored was horrendous. I thought I'd just take a pot shot with Bakayoko. His defender blocked it and it bounced over his keeper as he was diving. So other than that, this game is very, very good defensively. Very close, tight game from both of us, which is why I picked this one to show you guys. So like I said, put it on defensive and it'll just make sure your CDM you've got set to stay back will actually stay back, and it'll make sure your defenders will actually stay back instead of your centre-backs going wandering or your full-backs going wandering. Now, kick-off goals, if you want to ask me how to defend kick-off goals, you can't. It's as simple as that, you can't. If anyone's got a tactic, my tactic is to grab a striker from kick-off and pull them backwards into midfield, and then try and grab a second one and pull them backwards into midfield, and then just hold RB and cover the pass to the other man. And pray to God he doesn't just manage to sprint for your whole team, because I concede so many kickoff goals. It is ridiculous. I can't help you with that. How to defend kickoff goals? No idea. It's not possible. They're a joke. But I can tell you how to defend normally. So my Bakayoko does still go wandering sometimes. We definitely could have scored then with Martial as a nice way to pick him apart. I need to start actually analysing the defending as well. So let's start properly paying attention to what we're actually doing in this game. That guy, the reason Martial got into that position is because he didn't follow the run. And also another thing, how to defend corners and cutbacks and stuff like that, very, very difficult as well. The way to defend it is basically don't let them get into that position in the first place. So this guy's got the ball with Nkudu and he's going to ping it over the top to Zaha. And now we get caught because defenders don't react quite as quick to attackers. But what you can see I do is I don't actually rush towards him. I hold RB to send the second man and put the man that I'm controlling in between him and the ball, because you can see I was like, oh, there's a chance to tackle him here. I changed him, I actually tackled him and he still had the ball. That happens a lot. What you actually want to do is 99% of the time you just want to control a different man and put him in between either the attacker and the goal, or the attacker and where you think he's next going to pass it. So you can see this guy is marking me basically and dropping off. If I'd have managed to get that through ball through, I potentially might have scored because he wasn't tracking the run. As you can see, I instantly grab hold of, I think it was Masuaku, and drag him into midfield. I'm controlling this one here, but he just does a wayward cross. Like, I don't do it perfectly all the time, like I'm going to say. He does somehow manage to keep this ball in. And here's a good example, or if I do it properly, this should be good. Now, I'm literally just sprinting at him with Son and getting very, very lucky with it. That was me telling him to tackle, I think, with button delay, and he actually did a clearance, which drove me a little bit mad, but you can see I'm not doing it perfectly, but I should do it here. I pick up a player who's already behind the ball. There we go. I control the man, I control the man who's not got the ball or not going towards the ball. Pull him backwards, send someone forwards with RB, like the computer press, and then I just ran off backwards, covered the run, and intercepted the pass straight away. And that is essentially all that there is to defending. I'm dragging Davy Klaassen back here, which is probably not the best of ideas, but you can see he's sort of in the way and the keeper saves it. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not the best player in the world at this game. But that is, everyone keeps saying to me, like, before the patch, you had to manually go and do all of your defending yourself and actually tackle them, and the AI didn't really do anything, and if you weren't the one who ran over and tackled them, it was never really going to work. You had to second man press and then change that man and tackle them, whereas now you can literally just second man press and do whatever you like, basically. You don't even have to play if you don't want to. We get very, very lucky. So my next point of how to be good at defending is to just not let your opponents attack. And we did a very, very bad job of it then, giving the ball straight away to him. But what you actually want to do, and it's really helpful for me to watch this back and see all the stupid stuff I do. So I should pass this ball backwards, which I didn't there. And we're going to pass it backwards with Klaas now. Yeah, okay. Just keep the ball. Don't try and force it, as I almost did trying to do a step over then with Bakayoko. Just keep passing it around. I should pass this back out. Pass it out again. There we go. He can't score if he doesn't have the ball, essentially. And I've gone for a killer pass there, which is never going to work. And now it gives him a chance to spring a counter-attack. Whereas if I'd have just kept the ball till half-time, he's never going to score. Luckily, me being a midfielder and running a midfielder back, Davy Klaassen there, has made me get the ball again. But here, pass it back to Klaassen, Andy. Pass it back to Klaassen. There we go. Back again to Bakayoko. So I'm going for it. I'm trying to get a goal. But I'm also trying to force a goal. Can you see? Going for a pass to Son, which is very, very silly. Just for no reason at all. Just because in my head, that's how you score on FIFA. Is 1-2 pass. Oh, it hasn't worked. 1-2 pass. Oh, it hasn't worked. That is how a lot of people play FIFA. And that will result in you losing the ball a lot. And it'll essentially be pot luck between you and your opponent just doing the exact same thing. 1-2 pass, 1-2 pass, 1-2, and it's just going backwards and forwards until it works for one of you. Whereas if I'd have just passed the ball around, the guy wouldn't have been able to touch the ball, and he can't score if he hasn't got the ball. I do it a lot, and I don't think I actually do it in this game because I don't know why I didn't do it, but I should have done it. I tend to do it at 2-0 up. Or 2 goals ahead, I should say. I get the ball, I take it to the wing, and just don't let the guy touch the ball. And it's unbelievably frustrating to play against. And there we go again with another kickoff goal or kickoff goal attempt. The players just don't seem to work. Luckily for me, he did a terrible pass, and off we popped away with the ball. Once it goes out, or once you get it for a little bit, the kickoff boost seems to disappear. But you basically just don't let him touch the ball. You can't concede if you've got the ball, is essentially my best defender tip. So many games of FUT Champs, I'll win by 1 goal with like 70% possession or something like that. If I had 25% less possession, imagine how many more chances the guy would have to actually score. So you do need to be good at actually defending as well. And this guy's doing a good job of it himself there. What he should be doing, you can see he's controlling the guy. He's running backwards and forwards in between me. And it allowed me to get a shot off with Barkley. Whereas I should do it now with Nathaniel Klein. I'm probably going to push over to him because there's no one to really second man press here. But as soon as I get past him, I'll drop back in and send Bakayoko to tackle him, or I should have done. I probably should have changed to Bakayoko and brought Bakayoko back as well. So you can learn from my mistakes and the things that I'm doing badly as well. But the idea is to, the person that you're controlling, to always be looking not at what's happening now, unless you're in like last ditch situations where I have to make Klein go over and try and tackle him then. And again, here's just more examples. I got very lucky then with him somehow fouling me. I don't know how that was a foul, but when you get like 1-on-1 with the keeper and then the defender clatters you, it's not. But I got lucky. I should have been keeping the ball. What I was saying is, the active defender, see, I've actually started doing it now and just passing the ball around. I'm going to go back to Bakayoko and then into Barkley and then across the midfield and into the gaps and stuff like that. Which, this is good. This is keeping the ball and this is not letting him touch it. I'm still being a little bit anxious to get the ball forwards and try and score. As you can see there, going for a 1-2 with Son, that just wasn't on at all. But is this going to be a good example of defending? You can see that I am just getting a lucky interception. So that's the computer doing. The computer does so much of it for you now, which it never used to pre-patch. Like AI blocks, AI auto interceptions and stuff like that are very, very, very good. And auto tackles drive me nuts as well. So long as you're thinking about not what's happening now, but what is about to happen. I'm trying to wait for a good example of it in the video, and I just keep running over and tackling them, and it's working. I don't know why I keep doing it. Maybe I should have used a different game as an example, but you can learn from me doing it wrong. Slip that around the corner to Son. We were very, very unlucky to not score there. Probably should have went for a chip shot. But see, I've got Bakayoko, and I'm not going towards the ball. I'm bringing Bakayoko back to be an extra defender, and I'm putting him between the goal and the person with the ball, and I'm holding RB to make someone else go towards the ball. And there's always my defender and Bakayoko in the way. And no matter how many clever little passes and stuff he does, there's always someone pressing him with RB. As you can see, Barkley intercepting it there. Just go straight back to him, but we've still got the pressure. And there's always Bakayoko in the way, in between the player and the goal, to the point where there's literally just nowhere for him to go. And eventually he messes it up. He gets very, very lucky with the stupid auto tackle system or whatever it was. His player just auto intercepting it even when I tackled him. But he was offside and he was getting very stressed out by the fact there's just nowhere for them to pass the ball. People are so, as you can see from me as well, people are so rigid in the way that they play FIFA. They don't adapt to who they're playing against. So I do it myself as well. I'll play against someone who does the same type of defending as me. And you can even see it in this game, me trying to force 1-2s. I'm probably going to pass this back to Klaassen. Okay, I'm learning, but I did a bad pass. He would have passed that back to Klaassen trying to force the goal, because that's how he knows, that's how you score on FIFA. So they get really, really angsty or anxious to actually do it when the pass isn't actually on, because you're just constantly pressuring them with a second man and always covering the pass. It's just, I'll be honest with you, it's really boring. It was so much more fun, it was so much more rewarding before the patch to actually play FIFA and defend and stuff like that. But this just works so much better. Like, as you can see, I'm playing pretty crap in this game. I haven't watched it back. I can see loads of things that I'm doing wrong. But I'm still 1-0 up because the guy can't score, because no matter how many fancy little dribbles he does or fancy little passes or anything like that, just can't get through his defence. And it's good for me to watch it as well. And you can see he's getting nervous and he's getting desperate and trying to pass the ball out and stuff like that. Here's an example. I should, in this situation, drag back another player past the line of the ball, which I'm doing, and second man press, and Masuaku will automatically intercept it for me. Barkley I sent over, and we do get a nice lucky clearance there. But can you see what I mean? I'm not being like, oh my god, he's on a break, change the key and go and tackle him, because he'll just run straight past me, which I'm sure is the guys in the comment section were saying, how do I not concede 8 goals? I assume that's what you guys are doing. It's like, look, this guy's going to bring his defender over, and I'm just going to sprint around the outside, stop, maybe drop the shoulder, try and go around him, see what's going on, cut it back. I think this is it. We didn't actually score. I should have cut that back to Klaassen. But it's so much easier to take on someone and get into space when they're the one trying to tackle you. See, he's literally just chasing me around with the ball, and all I have to do is just pass it around him. Whereas if he covered the pass so there was no one to pass it to, and sent another man to close me down, who would I pass it to? He's marking the guy I want to pass to, and I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. I think I score again at some point. Is this where I score again? Do I cut it across? No. Martial somehow turned into lead, and we just couldn't pass the ball. So this guy would sprint at me, whereas you can see I'm Klaassen. I threw it on ultra defensive, so my defence stays back as well, because I'm only 1-0 up. I've changed to Bakayoko, and rather than being the right back or whoever's there defending and going over to tackle him, all I did then was bring Bakayoko into the box. And look, there he is. He's the one who's intercepted the ball. He was on the halfway line, and I changed him and sprinted him all the way back to be the guy who's in between the attacker and the goal, or the attacker and the pass. Again, I'm Bakayoko, and all I'm doing is sprinting to get him back. I'm sending someone else to cover. And even if you mess it up, and even if he does manage to send the pass through and I didn't quite manage to mark the man, the auto interceptions will do it for you anyway. Again, Bakayoko, bring Barkley back in. Press with Bakayoko, press with Klein, press with everyone, and bring Barkley back in. And it just crowds out of the box, and the guy just can't pass it out. And I think this is where I managed to do I want to it down the line, or just ping it down the line to Gabriel Jesus? This guy is controlling the guy trying to tackle Jesus instead of controlling the guy in the middle, marking the pass, which allows me to just dink it inside, run around him, play it across, and then Son is going to finish it off. So we could go back and we could watch that replay a million times, and he probably wouldn't have really done a much better job of defending it, to be honest, because it's just the stupid counter-attack, cut-back mechanics. But it's not the most amazing. This guy's annoyed, as you can see, he just booted the ball to 2-0 in the 90th minute. It's a very, very close game. The difference from it was that whenever this guy came forward, I was always crowding my box with extra defenders and holding RB, essentially, to make another one tackle him, whilst I was in the way. Whereas when I went forward, he was always trying to tackle me with the players, and my goal was very jammy, but the one at the end was just a goal that he probably could have stopped if he marked the men in midfield instead of trying to tackle me himself. I think he was probably just desperate to get the ball back, to be honest. And it's not even the best example. Like, I'm not the best at FIFA. I just want to give you guys some tips and show you how I'm getting on in my weekend league. But Bakayoko there with a goal. It was a very, very close game, as I'm sure we'll see from the stats now. I ended up with 57% possession and lots more shots on target, because like I said, just keep the ball. They can't score if you've got the ball, and they can't score if you've always got a man in between them and the goal. 3-0 so far now after that game in the weekend league, which was great. And it's just a few very, very, very simple things. Like, people are always saying FIFA 18 is ridiculous. I can't keep a clean sheet. I can't not concede 7 goals a game. You honestly don't even have to do anything yourself. Just hold that button. You would, even if you, I've seen people who don't even control the other man. Even if you just held that, you would still concede less goals than trying to manually defend yourself now after this patch. Before the patch, yeah, fair enough, they did absolutely nothing. Like, if someone was second man pressing you, you could just walk past them. But now, if you hold that, even if you don't go and do the active parts of the defending and track the run, block the shot, get in between him and the goal, get in between him and the pass for the interception and stuff like that, or knowing when to change to someone on the edge of the box who is second man pressing to change them and put a quick tackle in before the guy, because they get comfortable and they know that you're pressing them and they'll start running backwards and forwards. If you change the man and tackle them, you can spring a counter attack. Even if you don't do that, and obviously the better you are at the active part of controlling the other man, where to position him, when to do the tackles, when to change to someone else to put a tackle in instead of second man pressing and things. Even if you can't do all of that, you'll still score less goals if you literally just hold RB, and it is so stupid. Like, I don't agree with it. I wish they'd put it back to how it was, but if that's the way the game's going to be, that's the way you're going to have to play. I played a game before where some guy literally was just all over me all game. He had like 15 shots on target from in my box, and none of them went in because he was always just kicking them at my defenders. And he scored 3 counter attacks. He scored a kickoff goal as well, but I scored 3 counter attacks, so I won. It was so stupid. But it's literally just a case of whenever I went forward, I was very rarely going forward, to be honest. He was always on top of me. But when I did, he didn't track my runs and I just sprung them on the counter attack. And I was always crowding my box with extra players and he could never get the ball through them. So it's boring, but that's how you've got to play if you want to win. So if you're struggling on FIFA to defend, that is how you do it. And that is how you do it in FUT Champs as well, against some decent players. And I wasn't even playing that good either, to be honest. Going forward, I could have scored a lot more goals, but I was even just from watching this is really helpful for me. I was misplacing passes, but yeah, I'm going to get back to actually playing the weekend league now. Like I said, I'm 4-2, which isn't too bad considering I was playing Friday afternoon against people who are nerdy enough to stay home and play FUT Champs like me. So hopefully now the normal people are starting to come home from work and stuff and from school, I'll be able to get some wins. So I'm going to get back to it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Bit of a weird one, but let me know if you'd like to see one. Let me know if you'd like to see a more broken down one, or a how to attack one, or maybe even a Road to Glory episode against a professional FIFA player who can pick me apart, and maybe him picking me apart will help you guys out as well. But for now, that is where we're going to leave it. That was one of my games today in FUT Champs where we just stifled them and caught them on the break and got a lucky goal. But that's what you got to do to win on FIFA, so that's what we are going to do. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.